Welcome to our deep dive into Sally Rooney's Normal People.
Hmm.
It's this coming-of-age story that follows Connell and Marianne, two young people from the same small town in Ireland as they navigate the complexities of love, class, and identity, first in school, then later at university in Dublin. What did you find most striking about Rooney's approach to this familiar territory?
You know what captivated me is how Rooney just masterfully intertwines the characters' personal journeys with the social fabric of their world. You see how their individual struggles and triumphs are just so deeply connected to their families, their social standing, and even the very landscape of rural Ireland.
Let's start at the beginning then, with Connell and Marianne as high school students in Clay. Can you paint a picture of their initial dynamic for our listener?
Okay, right from the start, you have this stark contrast between Connell and Marianne. Connell is the popular, athletic guy, well-liked, but harboring this deep insecurity stemming from his working class background.
And his mother, Lorraine, cleans the house of Marianne's family, adding another layer to their already complex relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
And Marianne, on the other hand, is seen as an outsider. She's brilliant but deliberately isolates herself, seemingly comfortable with her position on the social fringes.
And it's not just her personality, right? Her family's wealth further sets her apart in a small town like Caerclea, but it's not the picture of idyllic affluence you might expect. There's this darkness within that household, with Marianne facing constant verbal and physical abuse from her brother Alan.
That's right. And to make matters worse, their mother often turns a blind eye to Alan's cruelty, leaving Marianne feeling so isolated and unworthy. It's a truly heartbreaking dynamic. Yet amidst all of this, Connell and Marianne forge this unique connection, embarking on a secret relationship. It's as if they find solace in each other, a space where they can shed the expectations and judgments of their small town. Their first intimate encounter is pivotal in the story, wouldn't you say? Awkward, fumbling. It speaks volumes about the unspoken anxieties and vulnerabilities that will continue to shape their relationship. You see how Connell grapples with the societal pressures of their class difference, while Marianne, in many ways, seems more at ease with her desires.
Yeah, it's such a raw and honest depiction of young love, isn't it? Intense and passionate, yet also fragile from the very beginning. There's this, a sense of foreboding, a feeling that their differences might ultimately pull them apart.
And that's exactly what happens at the end of their school year. Remember the Debs, the big graduation dance? Connell, in a move that will have lasting repercussions, chooses to attend with another girl, leaving Marianne utterly devastated and humiliated.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking.
Connell's decision has a ripple effect, doesn't it? His mother, Lorraine, is furious with him for the pain he inflicts on Marianne, and Marianne herself withdraws completely, even stopping attending school. It feels like a pivotal moment, a turning point that marks the end of their childhood innocence.
And as they both head off to Trinity College in Dublin, that shared history, that unspoken pain, hangs over them. The weight of their unspoken words, the missed opportunities, cast a long shadow over their future. It leaves the reader wondering if they'll ever find their way back to each other.
It certainly sets the stage for the next chapter of their story with all its complexities and uncertainties. Speaking of which, part 2 of Normal People takes us to the bustling world of Trinity College. What can you tell us about the shift in dynamic that takes place in this new setting?
Well, at Trinity, the tables turn. Marianne, who once felt like an outsider, blossoms. She's confident, popular, thriving in this intellectual environment. Connell, on the other hand, struggles to find his footing.
So it's a role reversal of sorts.
Precisely. Now it's Connell who feels out of place, acutely aware of his working-class background amidst the wealth and privilege of Trinity. He constantly compares himself to others, feeling like he doesn't quite belong.
But even with these shifting dynamics, their paths cross again, don't they?
Yes, and it's almost inevitable. That underlying attraction, the intensity of their connection, resurfaces. They rekindle their relationship. But it's still marked by those same patterns of miscommunication and emotional distance that we saw in Caerclea.
It sounds like those patterns are deeply ingrained in their dynamic.
Exactly. It's as if they're both afraid to fully commit, to truly let the other person in. Connell, in particular, is still wrestling with his insecurities, concerned about what others will think if he's with someone like Marianne.
Which leads him to Helen.
Right. He starts dating another student, Helen, who is much more conventional, more aligned with his social background. Yet, even in this relationship, Connell encounters subtle forms of classism, with Helen often patronizing him, reinforcing his feelings of inadequacy.
And Marianne, during this time, embarks on her own journey of self-discovery, doesn't she?
Yes, and it's a journey that takes her to some dark places. She explores her sexuality in ways that are both liberating and self-destructive, engaging in relationships with Jamie and Lucas that are characterized by dominance and submission. These experiences, while troubling, offer a glimpse into the deep-seated trauma she carries from her abusive past.
So both Connell and Marianne are grappling with their individual demons while navigating this complex, often painful connection. It feels like a crucial part of the story, this exploration of how past experiences, family dynamics, and societal expectations can shape our capacity for intimacy.
Absolutely. And then Rooney introduces another layer to their story, violence.
Violence.
Yes. And it manifests in different ways. You have the incident where Connell gets mugged, and it's Marianne who tenderly cares for him. The scene is significant because it unfolds right in front of Jamie, Marianne's boyfriend at the time.
It's almost as if the mugging brings their underlying connection back to the surface, making it impossible to ignore.
Exactly. And then there's the suicide of a mutual friend from their school days, an event that sends Connell spiraling into a deep depression.
This loss seems to hit him particularly hard.
It does. He's unable to cope with the grief and guilt, and it ultimately leads to the breakdown of his relationship with Helen. She sees the depth of his despair, how much he still cares for Marianne, and decides to end things.
So in a way, this tragedy pushes Connell and Marianne closer together.
Yes. But then there's another act of violence, this time directed at Marianne.
I have a feeling I know where this is heading.
It's her brother Alan, isn't it? He physically assaults her, breaking her nose. It's a horrific scene that exposes the ongoing abuse she's endured within her own family.
What is Connell's reaction to this?
It's revealing. He rushes to Marianne's side, offering comfort and protection. He even threatens to kill Alan if he ever lays a hand on her again. It's a fiercely protective side of Connell that we haven't seen before.
It seems like these moments of shared trauma, as difficult as they are, further solidify their bond.
That's right. Despite the turmoil and heartbreak, they keep finding their way back to each other, seeking solace and understanding in the midst of these shared experiences. And as they approach the end of their time at university, there's a sense that they're both evolving, becoming more self-aware. Marianne, for instance, finally acknowledges the positive impact Connell has had on her life, recognizing that he's helped her grow and understand herself in ways she never thought possible.
That's a powerful realization.
Yeah.
And what about Connell? How has he changed during this time?
He's starting to embrace his ambition to be a writer, considering applying to a graduate program in New York. This is a major step for him, considering his past insecurities about his working-class background.
And I'm guessing this is where we see another turning point in their relationship.
You're absolutely right, because it's Marianne who encourages him to pursue this dream, even though it means they'll be separated.
That must have been a difficult conversation.
It is, but it's also a scene filled with both heartbreak and hope. They finally confess their enduring love for one another, but they also recognize that they need to follow their own paths to grow as individuals.
So the book ends with them facing an uncertain future, but with the knowledge that their connection runs deep. It's a powerful and thought-provoking ending.
It really is. Normal People doesn't offer easy answers or neat resolutions. Instead, it leaves the reader pondering the complexities of love, the ways it can both heal and wound, elevate and destroy.
It leaves you wondering, will their love endure the distance? Can they break free from those ingrained patterns of miscommunication and insecurity?
That's the question, isn't it? Rooney doesn't offer a definitive answer. She leaves the ending open, inviting us, the readers, to contemplate the possibilities, to reflect on our own experiences and beliefs about love's enduring power.
It's a powerful reminder that love isn't always about grand gestures or fairy tale endings. It's about the small moments, the shared struggles, the way two people can profoundly impact each other's lives, even when they're not physically together.
Precisely. And I think that's what resonates with so many readers. We've all had those relationships, those connections that have shaped us, changed us, even if they didn't last forever.
Rooney seems to be saying that those connections, regardless of their outcome, leave an indelible mark on who we are.
Exactly. And that's what makes Normal People such a compelling and enduring read. It's not your typical romance novel. It's a raw, honest exploration of love's complexities, its ability to both heal and wound, elevate and destroy.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have to ask, did you come away from Normal People feeling hopeful or melancholic about love's possibilities?
That's a great question, and I think it's both really. There's a definite sense of melancholy, a recognition of the inherent messiness and pain that often accompany love. But there's also a glimmer of hope, a suggestion that even amidst the heartbreak, there's beauty in the connection itself.
It's that bittersweet feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
The understanding that even if things don't work out in the conventional sense the love shared, the impact they had on each other will always be a part of who they are.
Exactly. It leaves a lasting impression, prompting you to think differently about the nature of love and connection. And that's the mark of truly great literature.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you for diving deep with us into the world of normal people. I think we've all come away with a deeper understanding of Sally Rooney's masterful storytelling and the complexities of human connection.